Well, hey, good afternoon there. This is Joe Van Cleave. Welcome to another episode of the Typewriter video series. Today we're going to be talking about how to keep your typewriter clean. Specifically, we're going to be looking at cleaning the type slugs. Those are those little things that make the imprint of the letter on the paper. And this is one of the basic things you should know how to do as a typewriter owner and user. So let's take a look at how to clean type slugs. So look what we have here today. We have ourselves a typewriter that's been wrapped in plastic for a while, stored out in my garage workshop. I try to keep these plastic bags on them. This here is an Underwood Universal. The latch on the front of the handle doesn't work, so I use one of these web belts to secure the lid. And let's get this thing out of here and let's look at it. So this typewriter has been in the closet for a while and I haven't used it in quite a while. And I'm thinking I'm going to take it out and start using it, but as I look here at the type slugs, I see a lot of ink, a lot of dirty type slugs. So we're going to go look at cleaning this. So let's look at some of the equipment and supplies we're going to be needing today for cleaning our type slugs. First of all, how about some paper towels? You can also use clean, lint-free shop towels or whatever that don't flake off too much lint. Some cotton buds, cotton swabs, if you will. Flat toothpicks. Okay, we're going to use toothpicks. We're going to need some 91% isopropyl alcohol, and I have a little squeeze bottle that I like to dispense it out of. An old toothbrush is always handy. And here's something you might not have thought about. If you go to these beauty supply stores, you can buy a pack of these mascara brushes, eyelash brushes, and those work really well. So let's get cleaning our type slugs. Okay, so before we get started, I should point out that anytime you're working with isopropyl alcohol, you're going to want to cover up the keyboard with a towel or a rag, and anything that's plastic or could be damaged by the alcohol, because it is a little bit of a solvent, right? Alcohol is a solvent, so I think we'll just tuck this in here like that. Okay. So the other thing is, when you're cleaning the type slugs individually, you might get little droplets of gunk down in the segment here where the type bars pivot, and you don't want to get too much gunk in there because it's going to cause the type bars to start to hang up. So we might want to get a little rag and kind of put it in there like that. And then you don't want to get alcohol on your ribbon if you can avoid it. I'm going to try this with the ribbon in the machine, but ideally you want to do it without the ribbon in the machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our toothpicks and we're going to try cleaning inside the letters around each type slug. And then we're going to use one of the mascara brushes to kind of clean the type slug, some cotton buds if we need to, some paper towels, etc. So we're going to look at some close-up here. Okay, so this is a close-up of the G key. I'm going to wet my little mascara brush with a little alcohol, and I'm going to brush a little alcohol on the G key just to wet it. Okay. Then I'm going to grab one of my toothpicks and clean out the little holes in the middle of the loops. You want to get all the gunk out of the inside of the loop, of the loops of the letters, and then wipe your toothpick, as I'm going to do here. Now you'll find these little square toothpicks break real easy, but you can of course use plenty of them. So then you also want to get around the outside of the letters. You want to circle the entire letter and scrape off as much of the ink that you can, all the way around the entire letter, every bit of it, if you can get it. Okay, you want to circle the entire letter, clean it as best as you can. Okay, so I've done more scrubbing on my G key. Then I'm going to take the wettened, alcohol wettened mascara brush, and I'm going to try to wipe off the excess and then wipe the mascara brush on a towel. And then follow it up again. Go ahead and go back and start getting back in there. Make sure you get all the little loops and holes of the letter and all around it nice and clean. Now, when you're done with that, you're going to want to get a cotton bud soaked with alcohol, and you're going to want to clean the whole type slug, including the sides of it and the back of it. Now, I can't do that right now because I'm holding the camera with my other hand, but you'll have to hold the type slug up a little bit gently and clean all around the edges of it to get it nice and clean. And just continue that for the rest of the type slugs. Now, don't also forget that you have uppercase and lowercase on each type slug. So obviously you're going to want to also clean the both letters of the slug, right? The same way. Use your toothpick to get in the loops. Use your toothpick to get all around the entire periphery of the letter. Of course, you'll be actually holding the type slug in your other hand, gingerly, carefully. Then you want to take your mascara brush soaked in alcohol and wipe that. See how cleaner that is? Much cleaner. And of course you want to take your swab, cotton swab soaked in alcohol, and clean all the way around that type slug. So perhaps you can see the difference here, the G key being on the right side of the picture, right about there, and the TV and percent keys being to their left. You can probably see, here's the keys that are not yet cleaned, how grungy they look. You can see the ink built up down inside the letters, and there's our nice shiny clean G key. Let's get the lowercase there. Look how clean that lowercase one is, and look at the letters to the left and right, how dirty they still are. Yep, so that's how you do a deep, thorough cleaning of your type slugs. Okay, I should mention that one really good way when you're cleaning these type slugs to isolate one type slug for cleaning and keep from getting residue on the other type slugs and everywhere else in the segment is, first of all, have your one cloth covering as much of the segment as you can. Then lift up the type slug you're going to clean and put another cloth behind it like that. And now what you got is you've isolated that one type slug so that when you start brushing and everything and the alcohol gets spread around there, it's only going to go on the rags. So now it's isolated. The other thing is, you don't necessarily have to use flat toothpicks. In fact, the round toothpicks like this one are actually have a sharper point and they don't break as easy. So really, probably using the round toothpicks is actually better than the flat toothpicks. Finally, you notice my thumb is all stained from cleaning this typewriter. Well, you probably should use some gloves just to protect your hands. Well, as you might be able to tell, the outer sections of the segment have not been cleaned. They're still dark and dingy, but you can see in the middle here, the G key and a little bit of the two keys next to it are nice and shiny. That's what you want. You want that whole thing to be nice and clean and shiny. In terms of how often should you be cleaning the type slugs, well, what I just showed you is a deep cleaning. The deep cleaning with the mascara brush and the toothpicks and all that, you don't want to do that every time you clean it. That's basically what is needed when the typewriter has been left dirty for a long time, like this one, for instance. So do a deep cleaning on all these type slugs. Get them all around the letters, all around the type slug and everything. Then, as you're using the machine, maybe once a week or so, just take your mascara brush or your old toothbrush, soak them lightly in alcohol, of course cover up the body panels to protect them from splashes of alcohol, and just give them a light little scrubbing followed up by a rag to soak up the alcohol that's now impregnated with liquid ink. That's really easy to do. You don't have to get the fine detailed work in there. Just keep them superficially clean like that and they'll serve you well. So it's just like maintaining your car or any other kind of mechanical device that needs periodic maintenance. Just keep it clean on a regular basis and then you won't have to do the deep cleaning. Now, I should also mention there's a couple safety things we should talk about. First of all, alcohol, as we mentioned, will discolor many paint finishes. That's why I keep mentioning about covering up the body panels. But it's also bad for your skin. It's a solvent. It'll dissolve the oils of your skin, and so if you get too much alcohol on your skin, it'll give you some dermatitis problems. Also, you notice I'm not wearing safety glasses or eyeglasses, which I should be. If you're using alcohol with a brush, there's a possibility of splattering the alcohol. Protect your eyes and go ahead and use your glasses and protect your eyes good. The other thing is when you dispose of the alcohol wipes and the buds and everything else, keep in mind that alcohol has a low vapor pressure. It evaporates at room temperature, and so it could be a fire hazard. So make sure that you don't work around open flame like the hot water heater behind my shoulder with a pilot light. Be conscious of things, of open flame sources that you might not be aware of, right? So don't dispose of the cotton and rags and wipes and all that in an area where you're going to have a flame. Take them outside to the trash, just to be safe, okay? So safety about alcohol, protect the finish of your typewriter, keep your typewriter clean, and it'll serve you well. This is Joe Van Cleave. Until next time, you have yourself a good day.